Here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Man Up with KD Bowe. I'm KD Bowe, and the purpose of today's show is to basically what Man Up is about: the M, the A, the N, the U, and the P. It is about maturity, accept responsibility, never settle, unity, and productivity. We're about making families and communities better by giving men the tools they need to make it better. So thank you so much for allowing us to be on this platform, Dr. E. Dewey Smith. As a matter of fact, it's Hope TV. That's the name of the platform. You can hear more about it as we continue on in the future. It was launched March 19th. They wanted to give some informative, entertaining content in the midst of a pandemic to kind of lift spirits. That's exactly what they did. And of course, 65 days later, one program turned into 34 programs, 10 million views later. This is really the thing. So thank you all for tuning in. And I don't even want to hold it up anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to our guest. The government name is Richard Simpson. There you go. And I found out about him in 1990 because he had a whole song about it. 1990, he jumped up on the scene. He had a lean pocket full of green, but he gonna tell you more about that later on. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for that dude, my Jamaican brother, Chubb Rock in the building. What up, boss?
Man, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here. I just had a birthday last week, so I made it another year, even during this pandemic. You can't take that for granted.
Yeah, man.
You know what's interesting? People always talk about 1990 and they say, yo, man, you came out in 1990. And I'm like, I had 2 albums before that. 2
How about that?
Before that. Started in 86. There was a part in, I said it in the Chubster, on the same Treat 'em Right album, when I said the Chubster, a man that came out about 1986 with the help of Dr. Ice in the mix. But you know what happened is we were independent.
Okay.
And we didn't have any money, and so we didn't have no videos. And so the first album, I think, sold only in Ohio or something. I think Ohio was the only supporters of the first record.
Wow.
In fact, that's how I met NWA. I was opening for them in Ohio.
Wow.
As a Brooklyn guy. And so we didn't really get there. And then we came to the second record, a little bit better, still independent. And then that's why I was so fed up. I was like, no, this album is going to be it. The third one, this is it. This is going to be my new beginning.
Well, it was, man. I mean, the hits were tremendous. Of course, Treat 'em Right.
We had 5 number 1 records. No one had done that at that time.
Wow.
5 number 1 records. And then the Brat came and took me out of the number 1 spot, and we were friends ever since. And I would always tease her, oh, you took me out of the number 1 spot, after 12 weeks. And then she stayed number 1 for like 16, 17 weeks.
Wow.
So it was just good times, good music.
So, the thing I've always appreciated about you, man, when we started for the first time working with you, is several things I noticed. Number one, your presence. Like everybody that is around you, your presence is big. Like Chubb Rock, the big dude, that's part of it. But now, man, your presence there's something on it. Like it ain't regular. So anybody that's around you, you know what? You're like the sun, dude. You draw people in, and you make them a part of your energy. I never said that before, but that's you, bruh.
I appreciate it, man. And we've been friends since 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
For at least 7 years. And, when you leave New York and you come to a new city, new state, and we move down here, you don't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
But then you meet some incredible people. You meet these friends, and they become family, such as yourself and other people that have been there for me and been there for my career, genuinely, just with genuine love and stuff like that. And, I told my mom, who's in heaven, I said, hey, she would ask me, how's it down there? How is it? I'm like, it's beautiful. It's nothing but love in the city of Atlanta. And you expect that because it's like the Mecca for us.
Yeah.
Right? The Mecca for us. It's a place, in New York, you do the voices. I see you wearing your Falcons t-shirt. You do the voices for the Falcons.
Yeah.
In New York, that would never happen. It just wouldn't happen. A black man with an incredible voice, but he's doing no. But down in Atlanta, that would happen. It's just an incredible thing that deals with us. And that's why I really like it. And I was blessed to meet great people, again, such as yourself. And if I'm bringing positive energy, then I will hope to continue to do that.
Yeah, you're definitely doing it, brother. Take me. I'm going to take you back to when we were to your Jamaican roots.
Yeah.
Whenever you talk, is first of all, when Chubb talks, he could just have a regular conversation, and he's not a name dropper by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But you'll be talking to him, and he'll just casually say, "Yeah, so I was at the White House, and I was sitting beside Obama, and I reached over and I said, 'Hey, man, that ain't chicken that you eating. That's lamb.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.'"
If you breathe, you're just a person to me. Hopefully I a good person. Your accomplishments is something that we will always celebrate, but I'm not into the ego thing.
Yeah. So tell me, man, like you were raised, you're a hard worker, clearly. You got several businesses, man. You're doing well for yourself. You didn't need to come back to radio. You were doing fine. You did it because you had a voice, you had something to say. But just take me back just real quick to those Jamaican roots, and what was it that was put in you by your father, your mom, that made you that way?
It's interesting because my mother and my whole generation, born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica, whole generation, right? Everybody there.
Mm.
But my father, when my mother and father were together, it was at a time during Jamaica's history where things were tight.
Mm.
Things were very, very tight. And my father had a certain skill. Him and his brother had a skill. In Jamaica terms, Caribbean, education is not a big thing during that time. It was more about a skill. They stressed that men should have a skill, whether you fixed cars, whether you were a plumber, you were a carpenter, you were a mason. My father and his brother were jewelers. They knew the science of gold and diamonds and this and that. And they had an opportunity to come to America to work for the Goldmans. And they came. My mother was pregnant with me. And things were still tight because there was a bigotry about even renting to Caribbean people. You would think the bigotry is even to black people, but I mean, it was times 10 for Caribbean people. So, my father would tell me stories about, hey, he had the money in his hand and went to go rent a place. His wife is pregnant. And they're like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. And they hear his accent and this happens and this happens. So, there was a period of time when they were homeless in Prospect Park. She was sleeping in his lap, my mom, and he's there with friends, and they have the same scenario, and they're in there trying to figure out, like, is America for us or whatever. So, and then he would just tell the story in a funny way because he was just a funny guy. He was a comedian to me. But they decided that I should be born there. So I was born there, but then things got tight, and he figured, nah, let you and mom go back to Jamaica. I'll try to thug it out here and make a couple of dollars. So then my mom took me back to Jamaica, and then we lived in Jamaica for a couple of years, and my father going back and forth and stuff like that. And then, my sister came, and then we came back to America. He had a little bit more of a grip on his career and things that were going on. And then we were here ever since. And then obviously, back and forth to Jamaica all the time. And it's Jamaican people Caribbean people are just the hardest working people on the planet. If you go to any, it's funny, in America, they talk about, hey man, you gotta support your businesses and you gotta do this. But if you go in any neighborhood, the black business that's there is usually a Caribbean business.
Oh, yeah.
So they always have a restaurant because that's where we came from in Jamaica. You always came from that. When you remember, to have a person in power, like here, everybody lost it when it came to Obama. Oh my God, Obama. And that's great. But in Jamaica, every leader of the country is a black man.
Mm.
So we're used to that. We're used to our prime minister is going to be a black person. Our attorney general is going to be a black person. Our surgeon general is going to be a black person. We're already used to all of this us. So coming to America, because my mother owned a restaurant. She had a bar. That's in the community. And other restaurants, Caribbean restaurants, are in the community. So we're used to that. And, my father, he just had a certain thought process with him, man. He believed in hard work, and he just believed in there's no excuse not to do well in America. Like because America has things that Caribbean places don't have, We don't have FEMA, and we don't have welfare and food stamps and things to help you get on your feet, and Section 8 we don't have that. You either have a house, can afford to rent a house, or you go and buy a piece of land and you build a house. There's only the 3 options or 4 options, or you're homeless, and you're sleeping on the beach. There's no other option. So he was just a different guy, man. And my mother was 10 times past him. Everything to her was work. My mother had a job at the hospital. She also worked at a place helping an old man, like a nurse's aide type of thing. And she drove a taxi, and then cooked for us.
Really?
And so, oh man, she didn't play games, man. The Wayne brothers, when they talked about jobs and them, how many jobs? Oh, they weren't lying. They were not lying. So, but we come from a culture of certain things happening too, political madness, and Bob Marley talked about it in his songs. And so, when these things happen that's going on now, police brutality, and we understand it, man.
That's what I want to ask you. And first of all, if you're a Caribbean, just make a comment and just tell us where from the Caribbean you are.
Yeah.
This is gonna be good. I need to see that. But hey, man, when you see the rioting, and you understand as a Black man, you and I have had great conversations about this. You understand the injustices, and you get it, and you respect it, quite frankly.
Oh, without question.
So when the looting takes place, and you who know what it's like to have a business that you built, from the ground up, and then someone in a fit of rage mixes you in with everything else, how do you juxtapose those feelings of understanding and I'm about to come see about you?
Well, here it is. Looting shouldn't happen, but there's emotions. There's emotions, and these emotions are justified. They're justified emotions. And anger comes in. If you think about Bruce Lee and any other martial artist, they say, man, you can't win a fight being angry.
That's right.
It's not going to happen. You got to be as calm, I think Bruce Lee says, as water. That's it. And if you haven't mastered that, and haven't, when I see young people destroying things and the anger is misguided, and I blame us, because we didn't show them. We didn't say, we did that when Rodney King happened, and it didn't solve anything. All I know is I woke up one day and I couldn't go to my local store to get food for my family. We didn't tell them anything. We didn't show them anything. We just didn't show it to them. The only generation that showed it to them was Dr. King's generation, because Dr. King said, no, we're going to be nonviolent. So we're showing that generation after us, nonviolence works. And doing things to hurt the financial side of it. The Montgomery bus boycott. Once they didn't get on those buses and they hurt that business, they said, oh, no, you need to get back on this bus.
Right.
We didn't show this generation. So the blame is on us. The blame is on us. I'm not a big believer of blaming the student. Blame the teacher. Because I know when I had my teacher, I remember my teacher, one of my teachers, Mr. Epstein, and I used to do good in his class. It was a special class, SP class, and he seen that for some reason, my history time, I was going from 90s, and all of a sudden I caught a 70-something and a 79, and he said, in his mind, he's like, something's different here. And he turned around and he showed up at my house. Like I came home and he was already there talking to my mother. What's going on? He's usually getting this.
Wow.
And now he's getting this. And then my mother said, well, his grandmother just passed away, and and he was like, oh, okay, I get it, I understand. This is an anomaly. I don't like anomalies. Richard, me and you will have some sessions right after class, and that was a teacher. You know, he can go home to his family. He ain't getting nothing extra to help me. You know, but he's a teacher. He didn't believe in you're the blame. He believed something I'm doing is wrong. So our generation now, any mistakes they are making within this thing, we made that mistake. We didn't pass the baton and say, listen, we did this. Rodney King, it accomplished nothing. No new laws was, put on the books. Nothing helped by doing what we did then. It ain't going to help now. So this day they could say, wow, the homie said that they went through this, and I seen the videos of what happened and nothing changed. Okay, maybe we need to go at this different. We need to go, just like the new rap guys. I love the new rap guys because they're doing their business better than us.
Yes.
Right? Better than our generation. And that's what you're supposed to do. We want you to be better. Like my son, I don't want you to be me. I don't want you to accomplish what I want you to be better.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to be better. I want my grandson, when you decide to have that, to be better. You feel what I'm saying? So the blame is on us. So yes, my mother, first of all, my mother would have been in front of her restaurant with a shotgun and be like, not here. If you want to go down there and do whatever you're going to do, you can do that. But, you're going to get your coat wet if you come over here.
Yeah, man.
So, but also that comes with having certain respect in your community with your business. My mother fed more people because she had a restaurant job. Incredible. She fed more people in that neighborhood for free. She gave jobs to guys that were going through a rough time, like we all go through, and say, hey, come here. You go do this. And they'll take care of the garbage. They'll do this. They'll do that. Oh, Miss Simpson, do you want me to paint this thing? Yeah, paint that. And she can do it herself. She don't want to do it. She want to give them a purpose. I'm going to knock on Mrs. Simpson's gate every day and say, can I do this? Of course, go do that. And this, that, and the. Some of them, she would give. I remember one day I was watching it and she gave the guy a couple of dollars for doing something. And then he gave us some money back. He said, Miss Simpson, I got some issues. And can you just hold this for me?
Whoa.
Is there a way for you to just hold this? Because if I have it, I'm going to get involved with something. And I'd rather if I give it to you when I really need it, I know you're going to come and say whatever. And she would buy these, we had this little thrift store, and she would buy these little metal pans, and then she would put their name on it. Okay, this belongs to this belongs to son, and she'll keep their little money for them. And then when they say, Ma, they would always call her Ma. They'd be like, Ma, do I have enough to get this room? Because there's a room over here. And she would say, let's go. I'm gonna go with you. And then she would negotiate it with the person because she don't believe in whatever price you tell her. So if they're saying, hey, we want $50 a week, she was like, let me give you $35 a week. And he'll sweep in front of the house and blah, 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 blah. And then she was like, here is 2 months. Okay? Here's 2 months. Give us the receipt. And that's just how she was, man. So when you're doing that in your community is not going to let nobody touch your thing. Ever. My mother used to walk away and leave the door open. No one is going in there. So but I understand the anger. I understand all of it.
You know what? I know you, brother. So if we start having a conversation, and you're like, "Hey, man, that ain't for public consumption," just pull my coattail, man. I'll ease up. But you are a man of equality and fairness, and again, you are a gentle giant. Man, you're very extremely humble. But I remember this one time in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm bringing that up because when you take ownership, when like the you in Man Up, is unity. Like, I am my brother's keeper, and subsequently I am my sister's keeper.
Yeah.
And that means that I'm just not on your side when things are good. That's a groupie. I'm on your side and I'm in your corner when things get dicey as well, and I'm in it with you. I just, as much as that of that story you willing to tell, brother, I just personally wanted to hear it because I got hyped just thinking about it again.
I mean, I was leaving the station, and I parking right behind the building, and it's an outdoor parking, and I come out and I see a bunch of kids, and I don't see my car, so they're surrounding my car, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh man, these kids, they done messed up the car and da 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 da." So I get closer, and a guy is choking a young lady, and I'm looking around because I know kids are always trying to come up with scenes, and they're filming things and TikTok and social media. So I don't know what's going on. I'm just assuming, but then I see like she's really being choked, and he's angry, and they're filming it, and I'm like, so I pull him off, and he gets angry at me, and I guess at this point he's trying to test me at this point, which was a bad test. Because you're young. I think he was maybe 21 years old. I mean, it was like, you ain't pay bills yet to beat me. So, unfortunately, no, well, not unfortunately, because, I have friends that say, "Hey, Richard, you think you should have done it?" I said, "Hey, man, he's a man." So the slap came from out of Florida. It came through to Georgia, came past the Tabernacle, right down by Marietta Street, and I smacked the saliva out of his gibbers, man.
Yeah.
But then I had his attention.
Yes. This is the part.
I had his attention at that point, because now he has to think, and everybody else has to think, all right, big boy here, how far is he going to take this? Right? Because now you know that you don't scare me. And that's what goes on now, even with us as men.
Oh, man.
We cannot have a society where grown men are scared of young boys. The minute you're scared of them, then it's all over. Your women is in jeopardy. Everything is in jeopardy, right? If you see a bunch of young boys walking down the street and you're going the other way and you cross the street because you're scared, that's ridiculous. So I had his attention. And he has to think, how far is he going to do it? Is another slap coming? So then what he decides was to just tell me the story. And he told me the story. And okay, I understand the story. He wanted to take his lady, because J. Cole was performing at the Tabernacle, which is right down the block from where we were. And he went and saved his money, and he bought the 2 tickets. And then his boss told him he had to work. So he gave his girl the 2 tickets, said, "Hey, you just go. I got to go to work. It's over," or whatever. He goes to work, and his boss is like, "What are you doing here? I thought you was going to the concert." He says, "What are you talking about? You told me I had to come to work." He said, "Man, I was only joking with you. I was pulling your leg and da-da-da." But he told his boss, "I already gave the tickets to her, so it's over. She's taking her friend." So his boss felt so guilty that his boss gave him the money to go buy himself a ticket and go to the show. So he goes to the show, and he comes into that parking lot to park his car, and he sees this girl walking with another guy going to the concert
that he gave her the tickets for.
He spent his money and gave her the tickets for. He got mad. It was misguided, and he started choking her on the car. And these other friends that I guess know her, and they're just filming it, and I think that, because I didn't hear laughter, they're concerned, but they didn't do anything. They're just, filming it. And he told me the story, and I said, "Listen, fine. How much did the tickets cost you?" And he said, "I paid $230-something for those tickets, and I don't make money like that." And I'm like, "Wait a second. That means it cost you $238 to know that she's not for you." That's all it is. Because the cops come and she presses charges, it's going to cost you more than $238.
Way more.
And then your life is disrupted. Why? And then she even tried to explain it to me and I guess the group there. This is my friend and this is this and that and that. And I'm like, listen, brother, I have no idea if she's going to press charge. I don't know what's going to happen with you. But and then all of a sudden, the cops came.
Oh.
So they came and I'm like, okay, so we're all going to jail. And then the cops come, they're asking him what went on, asking her and da-da-da-da. And, what was good about it was he didn't even throw me under the bus or nothing like that. And the cop came to me and said, oh, wait a second, Chubb? That's the beauty of Atlanta. Nothing but black cops. It was lovely. And he looked at me, he was like, Chubb, what's going on, man? And he told me, and I never forget this brother, man. He's a good brother too. And he said to me, he said, Chubb, man, you can't get involved with these situations because, if all of a sudden she doesn't press charges on him, he press charges on you, you're there just trying to help her. And, if it ain't me doing it, then you're going to jail for nothing, for helping out a young lady. So I said, well, brother, let me tell you, first of all, I ain't scared of jail and been there before and had my cheese sandwiches. So at the end of the day, long as she's okay, it's worth it. I don't, all this stuff is minor. But then he gave the guy kind of the same conversation I gave him, but maybe a little more intensified. And then that's it. The young lady didn't press charges and they all went about their separate way. But yeah, that's that story. I mean, it's a shame because, maybe I could have handled it with words and not touch him.
Yo, Chubb, no, I can't even listen. Here's what I value about what you did. You showed up in the authentic way that is Chubb Rock. And again, man, you bring a calm to everybody around you. Please understand, that smack probably had the love of God on it. Let's be clear. But I think that the way you present yourself, man, is like, yo, bro, I don't want to put my hands on you. I don't even want to go there, but you step to me. Let's be clear. Now, If you're calm, let me holler at you for a minute. And so what this story tells me is that you can look at it at face value and judge this kid for how wrong he was, and that be the end of the story. And he was wrong. Let's be clear. And
he calls me to this day.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That now, because you intervened the way you intervened, man, you didn't lose a brother, man. You gained one.
Yeah, because he went to West Georgia Tech and became a mechanic. And now he's in some other school now where I guess he's going to be a master mechanic. Because I gave him my number and we kept in touch and he would call me. He calls me Pops. I never thought I would get to the point where people call me Pops, but I guess the gray hair makes you know it. But, that's the hat you're wearing now.
Yeah.
And, he would call me and just say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And he's doing well, man. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, man. We make mistakes. And I remember coming home and just asking myself, did I go about it wrong? And maybe I just was in the heat of the moment and, I don't know. I'm always debating that situation, but
no, bro, you showed up, you acted. Cause see, there's some people who would have debated. And if you had not stepped in that fit of rage, we don't want to think that anything could have happened, but it could have really been bad. You feel me? So you put your isness, your manhood, your presence, your godness on that situation. And I'm saying the point that I want to make is that we need more men that are willing to do that, which is why Man Up is about getting adult men. Because if you get the adult man, bro, they're going to go get we ain't got to save your sons. You can go save your own son. We ain't got to save your family. Go get your own family. And so when you do that, when you show up differently, you first got to start with healing what's going on with you. Now, most of us have father wounds. Most of us have, drama and stuff. Ain't no perfect parents, man. None of them are perfect. They're great. My mom, rest her soul, man, is as close to perfection as you can get. But ain't no perfect parents, huh? You know what I'm saying?
But you know what it is? In Brooklyn, we come from a Caribbean area, right? There's a Caribbean area, and our block, and I'm telling you, man. I know people say it as cliche, but if I'll tell you a story. We were playing football in school, and it was a hard day. I'm messy. My pants are sagging because my belt popped, and this happened, and and I'm coming down Avenue D, and one of my neighbors, Mr. Swan, he sees us walking. Me, my friend that we're friends to this day, Rob. He sees us all walking, and we're disheveled, man, because we were playing football. And he didn't know what was going on. What, pants sagging? This happened? He pulled that. He had a Cordoba. We used to tease him. Cordoba. If you're only a certain age if you remember that commercial. And he pulls the Cordoba over, and he blocks us. And he comes out and he's grabbing us. He's like, "What is this? What is it? This is how you walk down the streets? And this is this and then." Do you know that these cops will come and kill you and blah, 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 and think that you're hoods and this and you're going to rob people and that? And he's losing his mind. So we tell him, we were at Midwood Park. We were playing football. I get it, but this is what happens. We're playing football. So in Brooklyn, we never had, like, when you go to the South, they have uniforms like that. No, we ain't.
Right.
So you have one set that you could always wear. We're messy. He understands now. So he's like, he calms down. And he's like, okay, do me a favor. Because remember, Caribbean people don't really know about American football. Right? Everything to them, football is soccer. So he's like, okay, listen, you got to be mindful. Take another pair of sweat clothes or this or that with you and leave it in your locker and do this. So then when you're over, just go and change it. Because you can't walk the streets like this. Because you walk the streets, you guys are big guys. This is going to happen. Cops are going to come. So later on, my father comes home, and he comes to me, and he says, hey, there was a situation. And I said, yeah, blah. And he told me the same speech. Well, you got to be careful, these type of things and blah, blah, blah. We weren't allowed to disrespect anybody in that neighborhood. You couldn't disrespect Mr. Swan, Mr. Lowe. These are people. When they come to you, I remember another story. Big snowstorm. Big snowstorm. And this is when me and Mike, again, I call them brothers, but because we 43 years now, me, Rob, Doug, we're going to make money today. We're going to shovel the snow.
Right.
Different people. Shovel them out. Shovel their driveway. People are paying us in food stamps, food. We take it all. We do not discriminate. Tokens, we take it all. So we get home and we're divvying out the money and we're like, yo, we did good today. So my father comes up and he says, kid, that's how he always called me. He said, kid, did you do Miss Thompson's driveway? And I said, well, we rang the bell, but no one answered the door. He said, no. I'm not talking about for money. You know that she just lost her husband and it's just her there with the 2 kids. So he said, let me ask you a question. Are you a man that you wouldn't take it upon yourself to shovel the snow? And I know when he starts and his voice go low, then I know either a blow is coming or he wants me to come to some kind of revelation. So I'm like, nah, you know something? We're going now. We're putting on the clothes, and Rob is like, oh, Mr. Simpson, no, we're good. We're going up there. We're going over there right now. He said, no, but I want to know, are you men? Are you men that you know that she's there by herself and you wouldn't take it upon yourself? I want to talk about your decision making. Yeah. You wouldn't shovel her snow without being told or getting paid to do it? Well, that was just a mistake in judgment right there. And we're going there right now. And then when we went back and did her, man, she had the cleanest driveway on the planet. And we went and did it. Oh, but she's home now. So she came out and seen us and she was like, oh, Richie, and here's some money. We said, no, we don't want, we will be back here next week. Okay, we don't want no money. You know, so, you know,
Yeah.
Again, man, it's the community that we came from, man, and you know, you learn certain things, and everything is an old-fashioned thing. You know, some of it maybe women might even call sexist. I mean, ladies, if you're watching this, maybe, you know, like we had to make sure that my mother's tires were good and she had air in it and oil and this and that and boom, boom, boom. You know, but my sister grew up thinking, man, I can do that on my own because, I learned it just like my brother learned it. I can fix my own tire and I can do, but we were raised like that should be our job.
It's your job.
You jump in the car and go wherever you need to go.
Let me tell you something. Let my dad come home and my mom comes from grocery shopping. And it just so happens I'm maybe moving too fast to get the bag out of her hands. Let my dad see my mom carrying a bag and my hands is empty. Ooh, you'll never want that. Yep.
Yeah. And I think, you know, there's a thin line between discipline and abuse, right? Because you got some parents that take it too far.
Oh, we was abused. Yeah.
You know, but my father would do it with his voice, man. He had a voice like yours. And then he just, if, you know, and it could be something so minor, but he just looks at it as you made the decision not to do it.
It's the decision. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the decision, right? And he just wants you to understand the decision. He doesn't mind if you make a mistake. Make a mistake is fine. I made a mistake. I want to just deal with your decision making.
Oh.
I don't care about the mistake. We can fix the mistake. We can do it. If it affects you negatively, then it affects you, right? But the decision, he was always about that decision, man. And
I tell my kids the thing that irritates me the most, Chubb, is if I ask you what were you thinking and you don't have an answer for that, that's when you get in the most trouble. Now, if you told me, if you rationalize, well, I thought that if I did this, this would happen and such. Okay, even if it's faulty thinking, at least you thought, you see? But if you say I didn't think it, go ahead.
It's the equation. You know, you put 2 and 2 and you got 5, at least you said, okay, show me your work. Well, I did this and I did this. And you're like, wow, man, that is, at least you had some reasoning and you were wrong. You were wrong. And then you can go through the process of it and go through the, you know, the steps and of what happened. But, you know, when you just say, well, I just decided not to do it. I didn't do that. Oh, but you were told to do it. Yeah. Why didn't you do it? Now, if you say, Pops, man, I was doing homework and it was killing me and I didn't even understand it. The lady was talking a different language to me and I got this test tomorrow and things are going to get, then he's going to get a little corned beef and rice for me and he's going to come back, or my mom's going to bring me the stewed chicken and be like, okay, eat, figure that out because we're not going to figure it out for you.
Right.
And then fine, everything is cool. But if it's just, I didn't do it because, I don't know, I'm just chilling. that wouldn't go. That's when he comes back with that Mike Tyson video that's floating around with where his technique is incredible. You're like, oh, your technique is lovely. And
I know you got 7 minutes, man. I want to honor your time, brother, and I don't want to take you over that. But I want to hear from you, man. Like, how do we get fathers or men to, in your opinion, step up and take responsibility or accept responsibility for their homes and for their communities? I'm not asking them to be perfect, but what do you feel like needs to happen for the guys to just accept the responsibility that I really am my brother and sister's keeper?
You know what's interesting, man? I'm a car guy, old school car guy. And it's never going to be perfect. You're going to drive and then sometime it shut off. Then you're going to turn around, wake up, go outside to turn it on because, oh my God, it's a beautiful day outside and it won't start.
It's good, man.
So it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? The luxury is when it is driving, it's nice.
Ooh.
And you're like, wow, this is nice. So for us as men, you have to realize you're not perfect. You make mistakes. Understand the power of I'm sorry, especially when it's genuine. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry that I handled that situation that way. I'm sorry that I made that mistake. I'm sorry that I was selfish and I wasn't there for you when you needed me. And then you deal with that with your children or with your lady and, you know, whatever relationship you're in. And as long as you understand that, then you can sit there and say, okay, now I don't have the burden of what I did wrong or how I did it wrong. You can put all of those bricks down. And then you understand that you will never be perfect. And you will understand what your kids, they're never going to be perfect. And your lady's not going to be perfect. How do we now try to make our neighborhood and other people not perfect, but doing very well? And whatever we can do for each other. And you got to understand that when you give to someone else less fortunate, it feels incredible, man.
Yeah, man.
The feeling is incredible. There's a euphoria that drugs can never match ever. When you sit there and go, and it could be your last. You could have $10 and you know that brother didn't have a meal over there. And you say, hey man, here's $8. Get yourself a meal. And if you watch him go in to get the meal and come out and he's eating it, it's the best $8 you have ever spent in your life.
Yeah.
So when you do that for your community, when you guide some other young people, when they say, Pop, you know, when you did something, that was not the right way to do it. I remember you told me the story. I'm going to do this though. Oh man, please do that. Because here's the thing that we cannot be jealous of the next man, the next generation. It can't be. Jealousy is worse than hatred. Or I think it's part of hatred. It's the cousin of hatred. It would lead you down the road where all your decisions are wrong. All of them. So that's what we need to do and have men realize, listen, man, don't sit in a dark room. Oh my God, I did wrong. I did this. I did wrong by my woman. I did wrong by my children. I did wrong by my health. I did wrong. Get on the road to fixing it. Let me tell you, you talked about health. Well, you talked about me being a big guy, which I've been all my life.
Yeah.
But I went and I started juicing. And I juiced for like 45 days. And then I went on a plant-based diet. I lost 60 pounds.
Really?
Because I had to think about it. I have to be prepared. There's a pandemic.
You did that. You did that when we were working together.
Yeah, but I only did it as a time for a week or two just to flush the body.
Yeah.
This is like my lifestyle now. And I did it because when you get older and you start thinking, especially during this pandemic, can I protect my family? Physically. If things go bad, you already know the administration. My father used to always tell me, you can't blame people for what they do when they're hungry. Can't blame them. Okay? If they can't feed themselves this way, they got to feed themselves this way. So I wanted to make sure, because I know this guy up in office, he don't care about how people eat, whatever. When you were going and talking about the stimulus check, let me tell you the trickery. How come you didn't keep the food program going on with the schools? When we have to do online schooling. Yeah, but then you stop the food program. And most kids in the inner city, 2 out of 3 of their meals come from school.
Oh, yeah.
And you could have continued that food program.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, thank God for mothers, man, because mothers in these various cities, they come together and they're feeding these kids.
Yeah.
They're the ones feeding them. And thank God for teachers. They're putting their money together and they're feeding these kids.
Yeah.
But you never know if somebody says, hey, man, we got to start running up into these houses because we don't have money. And I don't even blame them, but I'm just saying it can't happen here. So let me make sure I'm in shape, because men, we have to do that too. If you got to protect your family, you got to do it physically. You know, I mean, that's it. If you watch Doomsday Preppers, you ever watch that show back in the day? These are guys with severe psychosis, but they predicted these times. I mean, they predicted it. Well, if a pandemic happens and this happens, how am I going to protect my family? And all of a sudden they dig some fort in their house and have 1 million guns. I believe in that. I got to protect my family by all means necessary. Malcolm X and KRS-One. So I wanted to get my health together, and it's been beautiful, man. Thank God, and just thank God for you, and because you've been doing your Man Up platform for a good while, and it's positive and it's genuine, and I appreciate you having me on it.
I'm glad, man. I'm really glad that you decided to say yes. I know you don't do very many of these, Yeah,
of course, brother. And big shout out to Hope TV. Yeah. Thanks for the platform. Big shout out to you. Everything, man. It's incredible.
Indeed. All right, Chubb. Hey, man, we love you, brother. And
brother.
I want everybody who's watching, do me a favor. If you know of a person like Chubb, who is the neighborhood guardian, hey, tag their name in this, because they need to know that not only does the community see them and appreciate and value them, but we want to do a better job with promoting them. Tag their name, because I would love very much to be able to highlight them. I want to know the method behind the madness. I want to know that person that was a single eligible bachelor, and then maybe his sister passed or whatever, and he ended up adopting all 5 or 6 of her kids and gave up on his single eligibility or whatever.
There's a lot of brothers that have done that.
Come on, man.
A lot of brothers that have done that.
And you know what, Chubb? We need to celebrate them, man. We need to honor them. And we'll talk more about that as that continues. But Chubb, we love you, brother. And anything you need from us, let us know, all right?
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Thank y'all for joining us today. And next week, make sure you join us again. We will be back with some more good stuff. Todd Dulaney is our guest, and he's got something to say. All right? Until next time, man up.